Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a watch that launched in 2012, and it was something of a shock. No one thought Rolex was going to launch a hybrid GMT annual calendar that year, much less in full gold, much less with style inspired by the ageless Datejust, but that's exactly what Rolex did. This Sky-Dweller measures 42 millimeters in diameter, 13.9 millimeters thick in Everose red gold. It is 50.2 millimeters from lug to lug, and if we include the end links of the bracelet, it is 51.5 millimeters across the wrist. It has a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Taking a quick look at the watch on my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch wears well. I would say that because it's not excessively broad across the wrist, you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference with no issues, no fit problems whatsoever. It's nicely counterbalanced by a heavy bracelet and clasp, so if you wear it loose, it's not going to move around too much. And it's surprisingly thin. With a conical bezel, it should slide underneath most dress cuffs. Let's take a quick look at this watch. Everose red gold. What does it mean? Well, Rolex has its own foundry. It makes its own golds, among other alloys, and it makes the cases, clasps, and bracelets for its watches. So Everose debuted in the mid-2000s as a red gold that is redder by virtue of containing more copper, and it is fade resistant, so it won't turn into pink gold because it has more platinum in it. So you have this red gold that won't fade, and that's Everose. It's the equivalent of Omega's Sedna gold or Hublot's King gold. We have an Oyster bracelet, 3-link design, an end link that conforms to the case, so integrating the bracelet to the case. The bracelet has a taper to it. You can see the center links are polished, the outer faces are polished, the shoulders are satinated, and the shoulders give way to flanks, including little screws that can be used for sizing. Rolex makes its bracelets the right way: solid end links, solid center links, and sizing of removable links by screws, not pin sleeves. Now here we have a clasp with a lift lock system. You can see it has a hinged and spring-loaded beak, and then there's a hook inside the clasp, and these two things latch together. I can't just pull it open. I have to unlatch it, so there's a measure of security there, and the clasp itself is surprisingly sophisticated in its internal construction. You can see that the gauge of the material is thick, and then it's all polished. There's also a 5mm EasyLink tool-free in and out adjustment. Plus, you can see that there are 3 divots drilled inside the clasp, so you can use your strap tool to move the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet in the clasp. It truly is a very Datejust-like watch. That's evident in the form of the case, which is not the super case found on the subs, the GMTs, the Sea-Dwellers, and the Explorer 2s. This is very much like the case you find on the Datejusts and the Date-8s. All polished, beautifully tapered, compound curves. We have a twin lock crown in gold, because it has 2 dots. That means a twin lock in gold. Screw down the case back. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. Now the dial, a lovely champagne rose metallic sunburst. We have a 24-hour second time zone that can be set independently. We have applied rose gold Roman numerals radially arrayed with a watchmaker's 4 and hands to match. The watch does have some lume, and you could see it right there. More lume would arrive after 2017, but we'd lose these Roman numerals. You can see that it is a complex calendar, as we have a date, and then we have an aperture outboard of each hour, so 12 hours, 12 months. That's how it indicates the calendar. It is an annual calendar. Rolex is first. It needs to be reset only once a year in the jump from February to March. So the way this works is that in the first position, the crown winds, but if you pull it out, it doesn't actually do anything. You take this ring command bezel, which is part of the movement, you turn it 1 click. Now I can drive the calendar forward and backwards. Take a look at the date and take a look at the month. So right now it is the 1st of the 7th month. That means it's July 1st. But look, I can jump between months, just like that. Just like that. I can jump between months. It is a bidirectionally quick settable calendar. But the watch is still ticking. Now I turn 1 more click counterclockwise. Now I can adjust the local hour. And you can see how I'm able to adjust the date forward but not backwards here. Take note, the watch is still ticking. 1 click counterclockwise. Now hacking seconds or stop seconds is activated. What I want to do is I want to set my local time, so we'll set it to 4 a.m. Then I'm going to click once clockwise. Now I'm going to set or I should say my reference time, I set to 4 a.m. That is the time where I am not. Now I set my local time, and I'm going to set my local time to just after, I guess this would be 4:07. Now, if I want to make adjustments to the minute, I want to set it to 4 directly, or 4 exactly, I just do that. Now I can adjust my calendar. Let's say I want to adjust, and I want to make it June 16th, just like that. Turn it all the way clockwise, and now it doesn't do anything. Screw the crown back down. Inside the case, Rolex manufacturer caliber 9001. Caliber 9001 is a bidirectional automatic winder with a rotor bearing. It is a 70-hour power reserve. It has a 4 hertz beat rate, so 8 beats per second, pivots on 40 joules. It is shock resistant thanks to that rotor bearing, a full balance bridge, and a free sprung balance. It also uses Rolex's proprietary Paraflex shock protection system. So you've got an overcoil hairspring made by hand that allows the watch to keep excellent time in every position relative to gravity, helping the movement to ace the COSC chronometer test. But Rolex then takes the chronometer certified movement, cases it up, and tests it in 6 positions beyond the COSC spec to make sure the watch will run no worse than -2 or +2 seconds per 24 hours. That is the modern substantive basis for the term superlative chronometer, and the watch certainly is that. The hairspring is a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy that is highly anti-magnetic, so we wind up with a watch that is anti-magnetic, shock resistant, and water resistant, all in a 42mm package. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.